Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So I have been trying to make this video for probably a month at this point. I don't exactly remember when I did the diet thing, but I have done it. It is over. I did not die. I'm sure you're all wondering what I'm talking about if you didn't read the description or the clickbaity title of this video. So about a month ago now, Amberlynn Reid, maybe it's more like a month and a half now at this point, I can't exactly remember. Amberlynn Reid went to go see a weight loss doctor, which I'll be honest with you guys. Up until this point, I was kind of rooting for Amberlynn Reid. Like, I try to stay kind of emotionally unattached to these kind of things and just kind of train wreck watch Amberlynn Reid. A friend of mine got me watching her, but I got really excited when she actually committed and went to a weight loss doctor. Now, I have my own personal opinions about the reality of that weight loss doctor and the reality of that weight loss doctor visit, but it's neither here nor there. According to Amberlynn Reid, while she was at this doctor's discussing with him various ways to help bring her weight down, he gave her a very simple diet plan to follow. And the first video she put out about it, she was super, super excited. She couldn't wait. Or I guess I should say, she was very, 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 very excited to go to the grocery store and start this diet. Day one, she was gonna hit it hard, man. She had this. She was doing it. And I was skeptical, but I was actually a little excited. I was like, you know, at least she's going to a doctor, even if she doesn't do well, because I didn't expect her to do well at first. I was like, you know, at least she's seeing somebody finally. I got a little triggered when not even 24 hours later, she had already given up on the diet, which, fool me once, shame on me. Or is it fool me once, shame on you? Either way, it was my fault for falling for this, is my point. But her back out vid, like the video that she made backing out of this incredibly simple diet that her doctor gave her, really irritated the crap out of me. And so I got a burr up my ass and was like, I'm gonna do this diet just to spite her, and I'm gonna make a video about it, and I'm gonna put it on YouTube, and I'm gonna tag her, and so she can see that this is bullshit. And then grad school. I am a grad school student. I do have homework. I have a life. My partner was like, maybe you're a little obsessed with the Amberlynn Reid. And I was like, no, I'm just mad. What I did see was several other YouTubers who tried out this diet, and the first one I saw was On Program Situation. That doesn't mean she was the first one to do it, it just means it's the first one that I saw, and as it is my world, my opinion is the only one that actually matters, and so my experiences are also the only thing that actually matters. I just fell in love with her. I think she is adorable. Her sense of humor is just amazing, and I was like, you know what? I should just do this. I should just do this. I'm gonna watch her do hers and see how she handles it and how she puts everything up, because she was brand new making these kind of videos too. And I was like, you know, I can learn from her. And then I found another channel, a little channel, maybe some of you have heard of it, called Charlie Gold. Nobody knows who she is. And I found out that Charlie Gold had also done this diet, and I guess there's a third person out there, a third woman out there that's also done it, but I don't know who you are, and I apologize. I ambiguously give you credit because I don't know who you are. So I watched Charlie Gold's video about how she did the diet. I watch and still watch On Program Situation as she not only did the diet, but discussed her difficulties with the diet, and then at the end of the 2 weeks, she discussed how she needed to modify things for her own personal health and her own personal goals. And I was like, you know, this is really awesome. I just really want to try it. So I did. Now, I'm not going to rehash everything for you, but I do want to be, I'm just going to shove the whole 2 weeks into this one video because I have filmed this series of videos 100 times now, and I'm just shy, and I'm just shy, and I get embarrassed, and I'm like, I don't want to put this on the internet. But you know what? I've come this far. I've done the diet. I didn't die. I should at least, you know, put it out there. So if you don't know what the general gist of this dangerous Amberlynn Reid diet was, it was that she was to eat for breakfast bacon and eggs. She was to eat for lunch she decided that for lunch she was going to eat a frozen meal, and then for dinner she had to have a meat and veggies. If you go back and watch the videos, she does say meat and veggies, plural on the veggies. This becomes important later on. And she was allowed to have one snack, and so the point of the snack was that she was supposed to eat the exact same thing every time she wanted to snack, and it was supposed to like make her tired of snacking because she could only have this one thing. I don't know how much of that was the doctor and how much of that was the amber filter that goes on the world when it comes to Amberlynn. She went out to the grocery store. She bought these frozen meals that were in her doctor's regimen for her diet, and she bought, you know, turkey burgers and those chicken sausages that she likes, and whatever. The point is that she went out and she bought all this really high processed food, and that was what she was going to eat for her diet. Whatever. Compared to how she normally eats, she probably would have consumed less sodium sticking to the doctor's diet, even eating all of that processed foods. So she made it, I don't even think she made it a full day, because I honestly don't remember seeing a lunch video of her eating one of those lunch meals that she bought. Anyway, like the next day, she puts up another video about the truth about my weight loss doctor, and all of a sudden, like, this guy's the devil. He put her on a high sodium, low calorie diet. He didn't want her eating any fruits or vegetables, and I don't remember. Just all of a sudden she's a veggie lover, even though I can like count on one hand the number of vegetables I've seen her eat in 2 years. So she just quit. She went out, she bought all this food, and she just quit the diet, didn't even try it for 24 hours, was over it. Done. I do not have the financial means to go out and just like spend money on brand new food every time I get a whim up my ass about how I'm going to lose weight. So what I did do, because I cook, which is a huge difference between me and Amberlynn Reid. She will flat out tell you she hates cooking, she hates following recipes. Girl, I feel you. I understand. Trust me. I'm in grad school. If I didn't have to cook, I honest to God would not, because that is a hassle some days. I'm not even being sarcastic at this moment. So I understand not wanting to cook. What I did when I started this diet was I researched the 4 frozen meals that Amberlynn Reid chose for herself for 2 weeks. I don't know if she bought multiples of them or if she just planned to go to the store again. I mean, she goes to the store a lot, so maybe that's all that really was, but she planned to go back to the store in 4 days, but that's neither here nor there. I looked up these 4 recipes. One of them was fingerling potatoes and chicken with vegetables. One of them was an adobo chicken bowl. One of them was, it said Asian-inspired noodles, but it was Kung Pao chicken because I looked on the back. And the other one was butter chicken. And so what I did is I went out and I found recipes for all of these things, and then I also bought sauce packets for the kung pao and the butter chicken, and the other two I made the sauces for them. I did not make the adobo chicken. I never got around to making the adobo chicken. What I did is I made myself all these meals. I portioned them out. I got about 4 servings out of each batch that I made. And so yeah, for the price that I paid for effectively the price that I paid for 4 servings of one meal, she probably paid that for one meal. Other things that I did, I started my journey by weighing myself. And I guess I should say, trigger warning, there's going to be pictures of scales in this. I know that's a thing for some people, so I'm sorry. Just letting you know now. But I weighed myself, I weighed myself, and my starting weight was 187 pounds. So, just so you know, yes, I am overweight. And yes, if you go by my BMI, I am technically obese. I think my BMI is somewhere between 30 or 31. I also measured my waist, and my waist measurement was 37 inches around. Now, these are the only 2 health markers I took because in reality, they're the only 2 health markers I can keep track of. I don't have a lot of fancy equipment or anything like that. I have a scale and I have a tape measure, and that's it. There was one stipulation that her doctor gave her, was that she was supposed to stay under 100 grams of carbs every day. So I portioned my meals, and I did. I weighed and I measured all my food, which means I used measuring cups, and I've got a scale. And I made sure that my portion sizes matched the portion sizes on the containers that they came out of. If they came, like the cottage cheese, I chose cottage cheese as my snack. And so I measured that, and I put fruit in my cottage cheese because I like fruit in my cottage cheese. Deal with it. I also like black pepper on it with the fruit in it. Bring it. I measured everything. I made sure everything fell into the carb allotment, and I also, because of that, I had to use alternative grains because we're big rice eaters in this family. We eat a lot of, I guess you would say, Asian style meals, so we eat a lot of rice. I had to cut back on that because a full cup of rice would have been all of my carbs for the day. And that's not how I wanted to eat all of my carbs. I have other things I wanted to eat throughout the day that also had carbs in them, like fruit. I know ALR's complaint about the veggies was that her doctor, after telling her to eat veggies, somehow also told her not to eat veggies because they were full of carbs. If you look that kind of stuff up, they're actually not full of carbs as long as you're not eating just potatoes. If you are eating potatoes and you treat potatoes like a vegetable, then yeah, potatoes are full of carbs, but her doctor told her not to eat lots of rice and potatoes and pasta and bread. Like, he specifically told her not to do that because all of those things will knock your carbs out of the window. And really what he was putting her on was a low carb diet. And even I had a hard time staying under 100 carbs. Now, her doctor also told her to be active for 20 minutes a day, effectively. I was not active at all, really. I was active on the weekends, and that was it. And that's because, again, grad school. Grad school does not care if you're unhealthy. It just cares if you're doing your reading and turning your work in on time. And that, a lot of times, is not conducive to health in any variety. Just FYI. So, I was very inactive these 2 weeks. But I also tracked all of my meals, and I will flash some of my tracking up here if you care. If you don't, just ignore the pictures. One thing I noticed tracking my meals was that I did go over my carb count because I tried originally to stay around 100 carbs, and it was impossible for me. I guess I'm special and I need more carbs than the average person, or maybe I need as many carbs as the average person. I don't know. But either way, my carbs actually came out to somewhere between 120 to 150 grams every day. Now, if you compare that to the average recommended amount of carbs, which I think is somewhere like 345 grams or somewhere close to like 350 grams of carbs every day. So like that's a big cut in carbs in general. And I guess I may have been eating that way, eating more towards that amount of carbs every day than I was the way her doctor wanted her to eat. So that was my big stumbling block, was the carbs. The first few days I was on the diet, I was feeling very lethargic and very hungry all the time. But I put my foot down and didn't let myself eat past a certain point at night. Like I didn't eat after 8 o'clock at night because my partner has GERD, and we don't eat that late because then the GERD acts up and no one sleeps. What I ended up doing was adding more carbs in by finding some low carb granola effectively, and I would have a bowl of granola as my morning snack. So I would have my eggs and my bacon, and I'd have my granola. And then I think I was having I didn't start having toast until the second week. But then I would have my pre-made fake frozen meal for lunch, which usually had like a 4th cup rice and then quinoa and millet, which actually is kind of high in carbs, but it's really high in protein and fiber too. So I was like willing to mix it in. And then for dinner, we had meat and veggies. I tried to put at least 2 veggies on my plate. Usually it was like Brussels sprouts and asparagus and salad. We had a lot of salad, just because it's a quick and easy veggie to throw on the side there. And yeah, it makes you feel full when you're hungry. But we ate things like pork, and we had chicken, and yeah, I think we just had pork and chicken that week. Basically, what I'm saying is it came down to a balancing act to make sure that if I wanted to eat more carbs in the evening, I had to make sure I was eating less of my carbs in the morning and the afternoon so that I would have those points. And I still went over somewhere between 20 to 50 grams pretty much every day. I did also go on vacation in the middle of my 2-week diet. We went up to Pittsburgh to go see my family, and I drove them absolutely bonkers because I was like, no, I have to eat a certain way. I think we were there for 3 or 4 days. I was like, nope, I have to eat this way. These are the only things I can have. Can't have a lot of bread, can't have a lot of pasta, gotta have veggies. And I made them nuts by making them eat eggs, or making them feed me eggs and some kind of bacon-ish thing for breakfast. It's not hard. It wasn't, other than driving my family crazy because like they just thought it was funny, especially when I told them why I was doing this. They just think I'm crazy. But it wasn't hard. It wasn't hard to eat out. We were gone, like I said, 3 or 4 days. We were living in a hotel. It was a nice hotel, but we had to buy our food. You know, all of the food that we ate had to come from a restaurant. So it was all pre-made, all bought from somewhere, either fast food or an actual sit-down restaurant. It wasn't hard to stick to the doctor's guidelines of stay under a certain number of carbs, or for me, close to a certain number of carbs, eat meats and veggies. So then when we got back, I did make a couple adjustments. Again, I started eating toast with my breakfast. I was having my bowl of granola. Honestly, fitting both of those things in made a huge improvement in my satiety and my ability to not be starving when I went to bed at night. So, and I only added like a slice of bread and a 4th cup of granola. So it wasn't even like I added a ton of shit. It was just these 2 things. So at the end of my 2 weeks, I kept track of everything. I kept track of my macros along with my sodium and my saturated fat. even eating turkey bacon, which is my favorite, and it has, on average, more salt and more saturated fat than regular bacon. So I hate to break it to y'all, regular bacon's actually more healthy than turkey bacon. On the days that I would have 3 pieces of turkey bacon with my breakfast and not just 2, I would go over my saturated fat allotment for the day, and I would only just go over. And that would be the only thing that would change throughout my diet, was the saturated fat. The sodium intake never got anywhere near dangerous. The calories that I was eating was actually very low. I was very surprised. I think I was hitting somewhere between 1,500 and 1,700 calories. At the end of these 2 weeks, I weighed myself and I measured myself again, and my final weight at the end of 2 weeks was 178 pounds. Now remember, I started at 187, so I just flipped those numbers around. And I lost a full inch off my waist, so I was at 36 inches as opposed to 37. I would call that a win, because again, I was not active at all. Still being inactive, I mean, I'm still probably more active than Amberlyn Reed, but even with my level of inactivity, I still lost something like, 9 pounds or something like that? 8 or 9 pounds altogether. Because after this diet, I did spend a week going back to my regular eating as I normally do, and I did regain. Let's see, I ended at 178. I just weighed myself this morning. I'm back up to 181. Either way, I gained back 4 pounds eating like I normally do. So clearly, something magical is happening on this incredibly dangerous diet. It could be that I am indeed slowly dying by losing weight. I'm losing weight and dying at the same time, but it looks like I'm becoming healthier, so I've decided that I'm going to go back on the dangerous ALR diet and see how far I can take this, because I liked losing the weight. I mean, that's really what it came down to. I enjoyed losing the weight. And I do have some health goals. I do want to increase my stamina. I want to increase my strength. I want to start dancing again. I do ballet. I want to be able to hike again, because that's pretty much what I do for a living. And so I need my strength and my endurance and my stamina to come up. I don't really care about the weight. I mean, I like losing it, don't get me wrong. And I really like the inches coming off my waist because my clothes fit better. And I just bought myself this adorable pair of red pants that I am in fucking love with, and I'm going to wear them until they fall off my body. But they're a size smaller than I normally would have bought clothes at, and that was a real thrill for me. So, I was really excited about these pants. Not only are they super cute, but I bought them off the rack. It wasn't in the plus size section, and they look fantastic on me. Little things, man. Little things. So going forward, I'm going to continue to do ALR's doctor's diet. I'm going to do it the way I had modified it. So I am having my eggs and bacon, but I'm also having a piece of toast with my breakfast. I will also be having a serving of granola as one of my snacks. I'm still eating my cottage cheese and fruit. I still have my pre-made meals, and yes, I'm still making the butter chicken, only I'm making it from scratch now because the butter chicken sauce really isn't that hard to do, and I can put tofu in it. So, but yeah, other than that, I'm not really changing anything. I'm going to try to keep myself around 150 carbs because that seems to be where I'm happiest. And that's still half what the daily recommendation is for the average American. So yeah, I'm just going to keep myself at 150 carbs. I feel like unless I have a binge day, which we all have cheat days and binge days. I ate 2 donuts the other day and I felt pretty good about it, actually. I'm not gonna lie, it was delicious, and I don't feel guilty about eating those 2 donuts at all. They were really good, but that's not how I want to eat every day. I bought myself some Oreos, some of the Oreo Thins, because I do like having something sweet in the evenings, and I love Oreos, so it isn't tight. So, I have a little crunchy cookie that I can eat at night, but I'm also not, I'm not Amberlynn Reed. I have impulse control. I can eat 2 Oreos, seal the bag up, and not touch them again until the next day, or until I get another craving, which won't happen the same day. I can have a serving of something and walk away from the rest of it. I can eat until I'm like, 2/3 full. I don't have to eat until I'm stuffed to feel full. Like, I don't have a problem with food. And I understand that some people do. Like, I get that. I really do. And I understand that maybe in this kind of a situation that probably gives me an unfair advantage, because I can not eat if I'm not hungry. And like with my carb points, I've watched her do this with her points for Weight Watchers. Like, oh, I've got X number of points left over for the day. I wonder what I can cram into my mouth to make up for it. It's cool. If I don't eat 150 grams of carbs, I won't. It's fine. If I'm full and I'm only sitting at 120, it's cool. Those 30 carbs, I don't need them. And I'm also like, if I get to 150 carbs and I'm still hungry, I'm gonna have to find something that's either carb free, or I'm gonna have to drink water, because those are the rules. Like, the rules are 150 grams. If I lost 8-ish pounds doing this for 2 weeks, sitting around reading books and only really being active on the weekends, I can't imagine how much weight Amberlynn Reed would have lost if she had just changed the way she ate and still wasn't inactive as she is. I think she probably could have lost double my weight. This started off as me being snarky and pissed off because Amberlynn Reed couldn't stick to a diet for even 24 fucking hours. And it's since has turned into a real study in a person and the phenomena that they've created around themselves. And I am going to make a couple videos about that, because I think the Amberlynn Reed community that exists around her is fascinating in a way. So that's when I'm going to put my anthropologist hat on, and we're going to examine the cult of ALR. Anyway, thank you for sticking with this video. Go ahead and leave comments. I might respond. I'm sorry. I can't guarantee anything. I don't respond to hate, so hate away. And yeah, be good to each other, and see you in the next video.